Exodus is one of the most powerful and spiritually charged records in Bob Marley's catalog, and now it has been given the UHQR treatment again. But does the 45 RPM pressing truly elevate the experience beyond the 33? Or does the slower, single disc version capture the soul of this record better? Let's drop the needle and find out. Hey guys, welcome back to Vinyl Latte. I'm Louis V, your host for vinyl related news, reviews, and interviews. And in a previous video, we did an unboxing of both the UHQR pressings, the 45 RPM cuts of Bob Marley, Exodus, and Rastaman Vibration. If you missed that video, I'll go ahead and include a link to it in the description below. Now, in that video, I promised that I would review both Exodus and Rastaman, comparing the new 45 RPM reissue against the 33 and a third previous reissue from Analog Productions. And so I spent some time with both pressings of Exodus UHQR, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, both pressings are from Analog Productions. They both have the same mastering chain, the same deluxe clarity vinyl format, but obviously two different speeds, 45 and 33 RPM. Now, both should offer reference grade listening, but I walked away with a clear favorite. Okay, let's start with the packaging. The 45 RPM version comes in the newer UHQR clamshell box. And while I know some folks really love the premium presentation, personally, I find it kind of annoying. It takes up a huge footprint just to open and access the records. And that inside album jacket, I mean, come on, guys, this is ridiculous. Look at this thing. It is flimsy. It's already bent. I can't even keep it shut all the way. And golly, it just looks and kind of feels cheap. It feels like an album cover that would just come with a standing press, not one that comes at $150. Meanwhile, the 33 RPM version comes in the original UH2R box, and while this is not as compact, it is slightly simpler to access the records, and honestly, I think this is just better executed. Now, Luke, one of the members of this channel, made a great point. Why not use the same high quality jackets, acoustic sounds as already using for the Atlantic 75 series and just ditch the box altogether? And honestly, I agree. Better yet, take the Buena Vista Social Club approach. Look at this thing. If this was pressed on Clarity vinyl, this could easily become the UHQR. It is the same size kind of as the new box. It has great print, thick cardboard, nice presentation of records, and it even was stuffed with ad reels and a little liner book. I mean, if this was a UHQR pressing with the UHQR branding and that record was pressed on Clarity vinyl, that is a $150 package I'd be excited to buy. But it's not. So we're stuck with what we got, guys. So let's get back to the music and let's talk about the 45 cut and then we'll talk about the 33. On paper, the 45 RPM version should be the winner. It's got wider grooves, lower distortion, and more room for detail. But from the first needle drop on Natural Mystic, something felt off. The bass was big, almost overwhelming, but it comes at the expense of Bob's vocals. There's a grainy texture that just doesn't sound like tape saturation. It just feels worn, and at times his voice even sounds distorted or oddly detached from the rest of the band. On So Much Things to Say, the sharp S sounds persist, and Bob's voice again feels pushed back, compressed during the peaks, lacking breath. And Guiltiness, same story here too, folks. The instruments sound detailed, but Bob's voice just sounds lost in the mix. Now, I will tell you, there are some high points. The Heathen has a nice wide soundstage. You can clearly hear the guitar echo on the right side of the speaker. That was such a treat. One Love is more dynamically balanced, and it is the first time Bob's voice really comes forward in the mix. And by the end of Jammin', my foot finally started tapping. Throughout, I kept noticing the same things here. I got grainy vocals, overcooked bass, and lifeless energy. The percussion often blend together in the musical moments that should have hit hard fell strangely flat. For a reggae album, guys, It's all about movement. It's about rhythm. And this album, this pressing, it just didn't move me. Now, shifting to the 33 was a breath of fresh air. Immediately, Natural Mystic presented Bob where he should be in the music, not floating behind it. And there was a sense of motion in his words, like he was shifting slightly in a stereo field as he sings. And if you know Bob, he actually almost danced in his chair while he singed on the microphone. And you can almost feel that movement as he sang into the mic. What a cool, surreal moment. On So Much Things to Say, the vocals are forward, the crisps are supported. The I3s sound fantastic. There's no sibilance, just natural air in space. The soundstage opens up. It feels like a full 180 degrees of sound. Guiltiness is where things really lock in. Bob is clear. The I3s surround you. The dynamics feel alive. And Waiting in Vain is intimate and emotionally real. The Hammond organ was warm and present without any fatigue. And by the time he got to Turn Your Lights Down Low, I was engaged, man. I was full in. The rhythm was right. The track felt alive, and I noticed much more detail in Junior Marvin's vocals and Tyrone Downey's Leslie driven keys than I ever heard on a 45 cut. What about Three Little Birds? Well, that's a harmony showcase, folks. Each voice layered beautifully, and Exodus itself was tight and controlled. The bass was impactful without overwhelming. The vocal sat properly in a mix, and the energy that was just built naturally around it. And it carried through to the end of the record. One Love, People Get Ready doesn't just sound good, it feels good. The drums pop, the snare is crisp, and their vocals just come to life. And even when there's a little bit of harshness on Yes, it doesn't cross into sibilance or distortion, it just feels real. So here's the thing. I went into this expecting that the 45 will be the definitive version. And technically, on paper, it should have been. But in practice, it wasn't even close. The 45 RPM pressing may offer more groove space, but when it comes to grainy vocals, muddy low end, and a presentation that, at least on my system, felt disconnected and uninspired. And at times, it felt like I was listening to a degraded copy of a great record. The 33, on the other hand, just works. It's musical, it's emotional, it brings Exodus to life. And it's not just cleaner, it's more cohesive. Bob is present, the band is tight, and that reggae pulse, it finally shows up. My foot was tapping, my head was nodding the whole time, and it's exactly how listen to reggae should be. Now, I will tell you that the 33 is almost impossible to purchase. The aftermarket price has soared to unattainable levels for many collectors. And I feel kind of bad recommending it over the 45, but when I proposed this on the unboxing, I really thought the 45 was going to crush the 33. Otherwise, I probably would have never done this comparison. And I would tell you, if you don't have the 33 to compare it against, the 45 will bring an experience unlike any other copy in your collection. I think you'll really enjoy it. But if I was you and having compared both, I'd use that $150 towards a clean original press or save up for the 33. It's a really hard recommendation to make. Now, if you had a chance to listen to either pressing or both, let me know what you heard in the comments below. Did you notice the same differences? And if you're into this kind of deep comparison between pressings, I would love for you to join the community, to have you along. Hit that subscribe button. There's a lot more vinyl talk coming up your way. And speaking of which, I need now to get back to my listening chair and drop the needle on Rastaman Vibration. The 45 versus 33 is coming up, and I'll see you there.